All right, we are here with Paul, and I am super excited to have this opportunity to chat about your experience and how you found out about Movara and what Movara does for you, because you've been coming for how long now?
Probably 2008, that's my guess.
And where are you from, Paul?
Well, I'm originally from Wisconsin. After having lived in many states, lived in Europe for 12 years, lived in Kenya, Africa for 3 years.
Wow.
And so now I live in Austin, Texas, to be near grandkids.
Awesome, I love that. Okay, so Paul's been coming for a long time. Now tell me a little bit about the first time and why you started looking for something like this.
Well, I have been fit, been a marathoner for most of my life. I ran my first marathon when I was in my mid-20s. And I just got the idea, having been to running camps, that maybe there's a different kind of environment that's not just focused on running, it's just maybe focused on fun, but health and activity. And so a Google search came up with Fitness Ridge. And first of all, I like Utah. So I thought, I like this area. So when I found this place, this was what I was looking for.
In the Red Rocks, and something that would challenge you.
Something in the Red Rocks challenged me, but also a very, if you want to say, a contained, you know, it was a campus. What was here, I mean, even from the very first day, was the centerpiece is the hike. You have so many knowledgeable hiking guides. Whatever your pace is, there's a guide. You know, and they very quickly learn you. When I mean you, what you're capable of. Okay, and nobody's left behind. And so that was really a nice feeling to see that there's people here who, we all had a goal, and we're all competing against our goal and not each other. And then you start, well, it was kind of a cool story meeting you. It was kind of cool. And so it was a whole lot different than meeting people who are just there to satisfy some urge to be competitive. But on the other hand, you did meet people who are internally competitive against what they want to achieve. You know, and so it was all of that you put all of this together for a pretty economical price, I thought. You know, and you're pampered, which was nice. That's part of it. That's part of it. You got to be pampered, right? But you're not overly pampered. And the fitness instructors will make sure you're not overly pampered, right?
Do you take advantage of the spa services?
Actually, I usually get one massage. The deep tissue massages are what I need, you know.
Oh, I want to say, how young are you, Paul?
Well, let's put it one way. I started my 9th decade.
Okay, wow.
I started my 9th decade January 5th, and so the date, so like 2 weeks ago.
I love
2 weeks ago, I was turned 80.
Amazing. So I love that I'm speaking to an 80-year-old who has been taking care of his health his whole life, and this has been important because everybody's reason for coming here is different. Paul was looking for something that was going to challenge him, and I loved how you also mentioned to me that you've been coming back regularly. Why do you come back regularly? I
have a lot of motivation to keep myself in shape, and one of the motivations, I have a granddaughter who's 18, and I told Emily, I don't want you to get married anytime soon, but I do want to be able to dance at your wedding.
Oh, I love that.
And so, you know,
it's a good motivation.
you want to see a good piece of your grandchildren's life.
So do you go to Zumba class while you're here?
Well, no. But I can cha-cha, and I can do the swing, and I can do some things like that. Really, I know it's a cliche, but life is so much more vibrant and full and exciting when you are healthy. You know, and it takes work. But despite that motivation, every now and then, you need to put yourself in an environment where the only thing you have to worry about is you and your health.
I love that.
You don't have to worry about mowing the lawn. You don't have to worry about this. And you need that. And you need that repetitively. Despite my 60-some years of activity, for the past 3 years, I was a full-time caretaker for my wife. And she passed away about 6 months ago. When that happens, you realize what you had missed, what you had not done for yourself. And so for me, there was no question in my mind that I'm going back to Movara.
Yeah.
I said, I need that. Yeah. I need to hear the stories. I need to have the food. I need to have the, the mountains, the fresh air, and all of that. I need that because I want to keep on going back on this trajectory. I have run and qualified for the Boston Marathon in every decade of my life since the 20s.
Wow.
I ran it in the 20s, when I was 30, when I was 40, when 50, 60, and 70. And yes, I want to run it into my 80s.
Wow.
This is the start of my training cycle.
I love it. Yeah.
But there was no better place to do this where okay, I'm a little bit tired right now, but I'm going to go off to class.
Right. That's impressive.
The other thing which is nice about here is you've got these spectacular organized hikes. Mm-hmm. And there's a hike for everybody. Mm-hmm. But you also have things like the signature hike of Stop Sign.
Yes, my
And you
favorite.
have West Canyon.
Yes.
And for example, West Canyon, I have customized that, and I get 11 miles out of it.
Wow.
There's a way to make West Canyon 11 miles.
It's beautiful, and it's such an
And so
amazing trail.
you make it do what you want to do. You just tell the driver, you can meet me there,
Right.
and they do that.
Wow.
So I have used West Canyon quite a few times last week.
Good.
To just do my own thing and to do my training, and yet you still have an awesome view.
Yeah. It's beautiful. There's
But
nothing like it.
So anyhow, it's you've described it before as family, and I come back and I know the
Paul.
fitness.
Yeah.
I know the fitness instructors. I know the hiking guides.
Yeah.
And
they get ready. They prepare for you to come.
well, I know they do.
Yeah.
But like this morning, I was in the van with Kimmy. And she recalled that some time ago, she and I, on a Saturday, actually ran together West Canyon.
Oh,
we ran
wow.
8 miles together.
Wow.
And I said, Kimmy, you're right.
Yeah.
So they do remember.
Yeah, that's
They
neat.
do remember a little bit about you.
And how many weeks do you usually come for? Do you always come for 2?
2, but I did 3 one time.
Okay.
And that was somewhat of a treat, but 2 weeks I can always, get in.
And you're getting ready to leave, and you feel pretty good after your 2 weeks?
I'll tell you what the in-body said. It said I made progress. So,
Good.
yes, in 2 weeks I made plenty of progress,
That's
as
amazing.
far as, again, the
Did you
internal
do 11
goals.
miles while you were here, this trip, on West Canyon?
In my first week here, I put in a total of 55 miles.
Wow.
And so this week here, I think and it's only Thursday, I think I got like 36 in or something like that.
Wow.
So
That's impressive.
I even do my own hike on Sunday.
I love it. So, Paul, who would you say is the perfect candidate for Movara?
Oh my goodness, perfect candidate. At one time, I was wondering if how I would fit in, when my goals might be so different than everybody else's. So is there a perfect candidate? I have seen people here who have a lot of weight to lose, have to get themselves mentally reset, and
It's a hard question, huh?
it was perfect for them. It was perfect for this other person. It was perfect for them. And it was, so, and someone asked me the last time I was here, and they said, oh, you're very fit and things like that, and why do you come? And so we talked a little bit about that. But I said, let me tell you something. I see you working just as hard as I am.
Yeah.
When you come at the end of the hike, you're tired. I come at the end of the hike, and I'm tired. We both did the same.
Right.
And so I don't know if there is a perfect candidate here.
No.
What you do need is to just say, I'm going to do it. I met one time here, she had just quit her high pressure job in Silicon Valley. I think she was in her mid 40s. And for her, this is what she needed. There was a retired physician one time who, after retirement, said, I'm going to spend my first month here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there is a perfect candidate, Michelle. I don't know if there is a perfect. I mean, it's all you have to do is like yourself enough to make yourself better.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to say it.
I love that. I couldn't say it better, and I think it's so impressive that you knew after your wife passing away where you needed to be. You knew you needed to take care of you.
When she passed away, and we waited 2 months to spread her ashes. Even on the way back home, I told my daughter, I said, I hate to say it, but I've already signed up for Movara.
great.
And she said, well, we were wondering when you were going to do that, because Dad, you need that.
Yeah.
I told my daughter, I said, what we need now as a family is, I said, we need to rent the villa. Bring my grandkids, my 2 grandkids, my son-in-law, and my daughter. And I said, I'll get you a villa, and we'll find some week or 2 weeks in your busy life.
You don't really have anything unless you have your health. You're not able to enjoy anything.
That is so true. I've learned that now. And I see people then sometimes in their 60s and they're like almost giving up on life.
Right.
And I've seen people in their 70s and 80s, and a guy in my running club, he's a year older than I am, and we just always sort of laugh at some of those old 60-year-olds.
Like, life's not over.
Oh my goodness, no, life's not over. Even traveling, if you want to take a vacation somewhere that's not involved with this, and you want to walk a city or do this, I mean, how can you do that unless
unless you have your health?
But
well, you're certainly, our guests or our staff here just is always inspired, and it really is motivating. To me, it's like, wow, I've got a lot to work to. You inspire us, and our hiking guides are always talking about how they got to prepare for when Paul comes to be able to stay up with Paul. But really, Movara is for, I mean, I love that you are a perfect example of when you first started coming, it was competition. You wanted to be pushed.
Yeah.
And now you're still coming with a lot of the similar reasons. And I love that we get a lot of guests that are caregivers. Yeah. And it's so important to be able to, like you said, have a week where all you do is take care of you. Yeah. And other people are taking care of you instead of you taking care of everybody else. So what a gift.
When I first saw Sharon when I came back this time, Sharon's one of the fitness instructors here, but one of her famous sayings is, and I have to admit, there's times I hear Sharon in my head when I'm out on a run, whatever, but Sharon's famous statement, and what can you do in 20 seconds? So the last 20 seconds, and my answer always is more than you think.
More than you think.
More than you think. And so sometimes when, I talk to some Movara alumni, we always say, and what can you do for 20 seconds? So Sharon, is...
You have the voice in your head.
It's a voice, and so...
Do you have Boston scheduled?
Well, okay, so here is my plan. This is the start of my training cycle.
Good.
Okay, and the last marathon I ran was 4 years ago before I became a caretaker, and one of the nice things about Boston is they have a qualifier. Okay, and you pretty much have to be in the top 7 or 8% of your age group to qualify for Boston.
Right. Yeah.
And so the last marathon I ran was actually a little bit more than 4 years ago. So my goal is that to be back into race shape by the fall this year. And then I'll run a warm-up half marathon in early 2025 and run Chicago Marathon in 2025 to be the Boston qualifier for Boston 2026. So yeah, I have a goal. But this is the start of my training cycle.
This is the start. So fun to have guests come year after year and come back. So we consider, we have our Movara family.
Yep.
And Paul's part of that family, and you're an inspiration to so many. And I love that you show that Movara really is for anyone.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Once I realized it was for me, and then you hear the stories. That's what the introduction on Sunday night is so nice.
Right.
You hear the stories and you say, yeah, I can do that. And
awesome.
Yet, as long as people just
show up,
judge themselves against themselves.
Yeah.
Where do they want to be? Everyone had a goal. And if you go home with the goal, you're 100% successful.
Yeah.
No matter what the goal was. But
I love that. Well, thank you.
You're more than welcome,
so
Michelle.
Great. And
thank
we're
you.
excited to have you back.
Okay. Well, I'm coming back on the fall.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's a good time here.